Nation, welcome back to Pick Six. A little bit of fun, a little bit of football, a whole lot of laughs on today's episode. I know a lot of people were looking for the show last week. We decided we're going to go every other week here in the offseason right now until things start to pick back up a little bit. We don't want to give away all of the good stuff as of yet because we've got some fun segments planned, but we want the masses to see all of it. But today, we're going to talk some football, Jake. We have some fantasy punishments that we're going to watch that are going to be a whole lot of fun. And we're going to talk about what All-Star game is the worst.
Yeah, because coming off what we just saw for the NBA, I have a feeling I know where that one's going to be ranked.
Very low.
Very low. Very low. But we'll talk about that here in just a little bit, Kyle. We do have a lot of things to talk about here today. And let's just not waste any time. Let's just go ahead and dive into segment one.
In segment one, you know, all of our fans, viewers, or at least a majority of them, know that we have a couple of Steelers fans on staff, Mac and Ethan, and we like to give them a hard time. Jake likes to remind them that they got lucky a few years ago and the refs helped them win their Super Bowl, you know, against his Cardinals. But are the Steelers doomed? Because the last couple of days, we're seeing some inside reports that apparently they want Daniel Jones to be their quarterback next.
Of course they do, Kyle. I mean, any team that wants Arthur Smith to be their offensive coordinator definitely wants to have Daniel Jones be their quarterback. And like, how many times can the Steelers just get a pass? And listen, for a long time, even though I disliked the Steelers, I was a Mike Tomlin fan, right? Like, I liked how he did things, but it just seems in recent memory, there's not very many decisions that he's making that are good, Kyle. They're bad. You're going from, okay, so you took Kenny Pickett. That was stupid. We all knew he was basically going to blow. He did. Now we got, you know, the mixture of Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. Fields was playing decent. They were winning ball games. They bench him. They hardly play him. They throw in Russell Wilson. He starts off hot. He fizzles down the stretch. Now, you would rather let Russell Wilson and Justin Fields walk and sign Daniel Jones, who we've seen suck for years. At some point, you got to just say, you know what? We need a quarterback of the future. If it means we're going to have a losing season, then so be it. I know Tomlin wants to keep winning 10 games a year to keep his job or whatever, but damn it, none of these guys are going to win them a Super Bowl or even get them close in that division.
It's so hard to watch an organization like the Steelers, who, whether or not you're a Steelers fan, you have to admit the Steelers are one of those organizations that you look at and they're like kind of the class act of the NFL. They're one of the organizations that seem to do things the right way. They have that type of culture, a winning culture there. It is so shocking to me that an organization like that is fumbling the quarterback position so bad, because then you got an organization like the Green Bay Packers who always have the next quarterback in waiting. It seems like they transitioned easily from Favre to Rodgers and Rodgers to Jordan Love, and for some reason or another, the Steelers have not been able to do the same thing. A fun game. Who have been the starting quarterbacks since Ben Roethlisberger retired? We've had Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, which is a fun one.
Yeah, that was
Justin
a lot of fun.
Fields, Russell Wilson. Who else? What other awful names have they started at the quarterback position since Roethlisberger retired? Again, that's
there's
exactly.
More. There's
exactly.
more, but they're not great.
No, exactly. That's the point. We can't even think of the names. That's how bad that they are. It makes no sense to me that they have not been able.
You know that here's what's funny, Kyle. You want to know what's hilarious with all this? I got another name for you. They could have kept a player from a few years ago and been in the exact same spot as they are right now at the quarterback position, but spent minimal money. They should have just kept Josh Dobbs.
That's true. I forgot about Josh Dobbs. Yep.
Dude's a rocket scientist. Just let him figure out the playbook.
Yeah.
And just what? They would have been in the same damn position and spent a fraction of the money. Just should have kept Josh Dobbs all along.
But even better, though, like even better than that is the fact that they keep winning with these quarterbacks.
That's irritating. That's irritating.
And again, like it talks to the organization. Like the organization is not stupid. I know people like Steelers fans want Mike Tomlin gone, and I don't really get it. You've been winning with him. I know you haven't won in the playoffs, and you probably you feel like you deserve these playoff wins, whatever. At least you're not finishing at the bottom of one of the toughest divisions in football every single season. Y'all are lucky you're even competing for a playoff spot when you've got the Cincinnati Bengals and their offense in that division. When you've got, I was going to say Cleveland, but they kind of.
That's the whole reason they keep not finishing last is because Cleveland's in their division, right? They're pretty safe there for a while.
So I don't know. They've got to figure that out, and they got to figure it out quick. And why in the heck would you sign Daniel Jones? Is he really going to be that much better than Justin Fields? Justin Fields has already had a year in the offense. Why wouldn't you just bring him back?
Yeah, it makes absolutely zero sense whatsoever. I do not understand. Why is it that some of these NFL quarterbacks are like the head coaches too? They're like retreads. Like they don't work out, but maybe they'll work out at the next spot. No, it hardly ever works out. And to even think of, can you imagine an offense with Arthur Smith and Daniel Jones? Dear God. Like, it would almost be fun to watch how bad it is because that's just...
And they might not even have a run game.
Yeah.
Najee Harris and Jalen Warren
are both free agents. Yeah. I mean, that could turn into an absolute dumpster fire so quickly in Pittsburgh this year.
Ooh, horrible. That first losing season could be coming very soon. And maybe it's needed, but I'll tell you, I don't know if the quarterbacks in the draft next year are really going to be... The game changers. There's a couple of guys that might be okay.
That's why I would rather keep Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. If
they could end up drafting Arch Manning next year potentially.
They're gonna have to definitely tank this year. Then they're gonna have to definitely tank, and I don't know if they would do that. I want to know what the people think. Kyle, maybe we have some Steelers fans out there, and if you are a Steelers fan, I forgive you. Don't worry. Just leave a comment down below. Who do you want your quarterback to be in 2025?
And if you say Daniel Jones, you're blocked.
I might have to block you if you want Daniel Jones to be your quarterback. I will probably send you a firm message first, though, and be like, listen, maybe this game isn't for you, and then we're just going to part ways.
All right, moving on to segment 2, and this is a segment that we've actually had some requests for, and it's that we talk about some of the best fantasy punishments that we saw from this past fantasy football season. We had one of our members actually in Discord who was driving down the road. Was it a billboard?
Yeah, it was a billboard talking about how somebody sucked so bad.
Phone number on it,
yeah,
and like number. You had to text him and tell him how bad he was or something like that. We thought about doing something with that, but I'll
throw Kyle's number out there, but I ain't getting my phone number.
Yeah, I wasn't giving anybody. I wasn't going to give anyone my phone number. So we went through Twitter, X, whatever they call it these days, and we found some of the best fantasy punishments that had been posted here over the last several weeks since the end of the fantasy season. And we took a few of them, and we're going to post them here in the video so you can also see them as well. The first punishment coming up, I think, may be one of the most clever punishments I've seen, most original punishments I've seen. This was posted by Sleeper Fantasy Football, and it's a little bit on the long side, so you're not going to see the entire clip. Taylor's going to fast forward through some of it with us, but they call their fantasy punishment the concoction. So Jake, let's watch the concoction here. It's gross.
Okay.
I'm
absolutely
Crouch, and I brought milk.
Let me watch it now. Okay, I saw that clip.
Yeah, this is gross. We're talking
that is
prime hot sauce, and I'm trying to scroll through
oysters. Oh, that spicy tuna mix that looked like dog food. I mean,
milk, spicy nacho.
Can you imagine
soup?
Kyle, this is why we don't do things as a whole team here. Is because if we did something like that to each other, one of us would end up dead. Like,
yeah, someone would be sick.
That 100%. Is so gross. I don't think I could do it.
Cauliflower, pickled cauliflower.
Oh my god, there was like cactus or something. Oh, how do you even like? Yeah, and then you got to drink it. I don't know. I would probably struggle with that.
The best part, here's the best part though. So after they give it to him, for every ingredient that he guesses, that's one less drink that he has to take.
Yeah. But dude, all that stuff together.
I don't know how many things he ended up guessing, because I don't think the video gets all the way to the end. I think they cut it off because he was getting sick.
Yeah. Dude.
Ooh.
My
stomach hurt just watching it.
Yeah. Every time a new person would pop in with something like that, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna suck. Yeah, this is why you and I can't do things like that. We would end up sick. Kyle, that one is disgusting. Definitely, there is probably not a league on earth that I would pay attention to more than that one if that was the punishment.
Yes.
That's bad.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jake, I don't know about you back in your high school days, because I don't know if they had even invented Axe.
Shut up, Kyle. Yes, they had Axe when I was in high school. Jesus.
This one also posted by Sleeper Fantasy Football, and this guy's punishment is that, you make fun of some kids out there, some young men, because they wear too much Axe, cologne, whatever it may be. The boys' locker room, it just smells like it.
Makes your eyes water.
This guy had to wear an entire bottle of Axe to school. Start spraying and just let it rip. I couldn't imagine the headaches that he had, he had by the end of the day, and everybody who was around.
Can you imagine all the people in class sitting next to him going, damn, is that you? Because he's just like, it had to have been overpowering the second he walked in.
Yeah.
So much Axe spray.
He's got it. The guy that's spraying it finally had to stop because he couldn't handle it anymore.
Well, can you imagine, I remember, yes, since they had it back in my day, it was wasn't the whole commercial thing you're supposed to do an X on you or something like that? That was supposed to be enough. Could you imagine? Even your backside, you would fart and it would smell like Axe spray, which I guess is kind of a big brain move, Kyle. I never thought of it that way. Maybe you just spray it in your underwear so when it passes through, it smells like Axe. Do they have that?
On something,
Kyle. Do they?
We may have just.
Wait a second. Hold on. Do they invent underwear with some type of fragrance that as it passes through, it smells
like
better?
A filter?
Yeah,
like a filter.
Do they have that? Filtered scented underwear. Dude, we may be rich and not even know it.
I'm going to go ahead and go file that LLC right now.
I don't know if that exists or not. If it doesn't, I'm going to seriously look into it. Kyle, that's a lot of Axe, though. That's a lot of Axe. That punishment, I would rather have that one, though, than the concoction so far.
So the next one, I don't think is a punishment that actually happened. Somebody posted this on Twitter as an idea for a punishment, and I loved it so much I had to include it. So Bonk, I guess is this person's name, decides for fantasy football punishment, the loser has to drive around town for 3 hours, but at every stoplight or stop sign, they can only go once they get honked at by somebody.
Dude, can you imagine if you came to a rural stop sign and you just had to stop and sit there forever because there's nobody behind you? You're in a bigger city, it's only gonna take a second at a red light. But man, if you're in some part of a rural country and you get to a stop sign, you're effed. You're just sitting there for hours sometimes. 3 hours seems a little easy.
Feels like it needs to be longer than that.
Yeah, I would think a minimum 5.
Minimum 5. The worst one would be you're at the rural stop sign and somebody pulls up behind you, but they've seen you from a while away because clearly you're just sitting in the middle of the road. They pull up behind you and they don't even honk. They just get out of their car and they come to check on you to make sure you're okay.
You're alive.
And then you have to explain to them, I'm going to need you to honk because I can't drive until you honk. Do.
Yeah, and then you just feel like an idiot. How about this? 1 hour driving for every member of your league. So if you play in an 8-man league, it's 8 hours. If it's a 10-man league, it's 10 hours. If it's a 12-man league, it's 12 hours. There you go, Kyle.
I like that. That's a good. And that's the type of one that would it be embarrassing to do? Yes, but it wouldn't be the kind like the concoction.
Yeah.
Where I feel like my entire life would be ruined afterwards.
And you can even add to it kind of you're probably gonna need gas at some point, right? You have to stop to get gas, but you can't leave the gas pump until somebody's irritated behind you that you're taking the pump. I don't know. There's so many ways to add to that. That's a pretty fun one to think about.
The next one comes from Brett Ketchler, maybe? Kuchler?
Don't ask me to pronounce it. I mean,
I don't know. Anyway, I think we've seen this. Kukler, whatever.
Wow.
We've probably seen this punishment, but more geared towards a Waffle House, where the loser has to spend 24 hours in the restaurant, and then whatever food that they eat, every time they have one, they get to take an hour off.
Yep.
This one, though, I had not seen this one because they decided to do this one in a McDonald's.
Oof.
And for each Big Mac you eat, you get to take an hour off of your time. So his goal was 12 Big Macs. So he'd only have to stay there for 12 hours. Could you eat 12 Big Macs in 12 hours?
No, I don't think
I could. I feel like I would be physically ill by the time we got to hour number 12.
I mean, you would definitely have to pace yourself, right? So you have to have one and then wait an hour and then eat another one and then wait an hour. And eat, like, there's no way I'm doing it in one sitting by any means. But I think even at the max, I mean, I'm not a big McDonald's guy anyway, but even if at the max, maybe 4 or 5 is what I could eat.
I think
in a 12-hour span.
Yeah, so I feel like if I started, so he started at 10:30, which would have been the beginning of lunch for most McDonald's, I assume. So if you start at 10:30 and that's your first meal of the day, I could probably eat 2 Big Macs and not feel great afterwards. But then even if I were to try and take down 2 more Big Macs at lunch, at that point, I'm not, well, I guess it wouldn't be, that would be breakfast-ish, lunch, dinner, brunch, whatever. My next meal, if it were 2 more Big Macs, I don't think there's any way I could eat 2 more.
Yeah, I mean, 5 or 6 is, and then the bigger side of the punishment is you have to continually use a McDonald's bathroom.
That might be the punishment in itself.
That's the punishment in itself. I mean, can you imagine that many Big Macs in your system and it's got to go somewhere and the only option you have is a McDonald's bathroom? Bad day. Bad punishment. I'd almost rather have the concoction.
I would tell everybody that if you're going to pick a McDonald's to do that in, don't pick like a rest stop McDonald's.
Yeah, don't do that. Bad idea.
Bad, awful idea. However, though, that gets me thinking 24 hours in a rest stop. Like one of the bigger ones on the highway.
I don't mind that. Like a truck stop.
Yeah, like you could live in that for 24 hours and be fine.
Yeah, I mean, they even got showers and all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That wouldn't even be much of a punishment, to be honest.
I mean, you have to figure out where you're gonna sit/sleep, unless it's just in the car. But yeah,
it'd probably have to come with you can't leave the rest stop.
Yeah, like you got to be.
You have to stay in there.
Oh wow, yeah. Just make friends with the cashier and just hang out all night and just talking. Yeah, that's what I apply for a job. Maybe make some money while you're at it. I don't know.
All right, so the last one is from Fantasy Football Today. This one was posted on Twitter, X, whatever, as well. Zach Rosenblatt, I guess, posted that this is Chris. He came in last place in our fantasy football league. His punishment, go to a nice restaurant with a large teddy bear as his date. So he's at this nice,
oh my gosh,
it looks like maybe Italian restaurant of some kind.
And he's with Winnie the Pooh.
Large Winnie the Pooh sitting next to him.
Oh my gosh.
I forget what I was watching. It may have been a Dude Perfect video where one of their employees had to go to a dinner with a Taylor Swift cardboard cutout.
I do remember something about a cardboard cutout.
So very similar to that. See, I would rather, I don't know, would you rather do this or the Big Macs?
I would probably still rather do this.
This?
Probably, because this is like 2 hours of torture, an hour and a half of torture. The other one is 24 hours of Big Macs, and that just sounds like a nightmare. You know what I mean? So sure, everybody's going to laugh at you, but at least they're going to see that there's like cameras around and they know that hopefully they know that something's up and that you're not like dating a teddy bear. But still funny and hilarious.
I just turned the sound on. They're singing "Happy Birthday" to the bear.
That's even now we're up in the ante, Kyle. We're up in the ante. We're making it more attention needs to be had on the bear.
I already don't like doing that for my birthday.
Oh, I don't like it for me personally. No.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. So if they had to do it to the freaking bear I was sitting with, I don't know if I'd be able to handle that.
You think they said "Happy Birthday, dear Winnie"?
Oh, I have no idea. He leaned over and I was like, what's he doing? And it looked like he was blowing something. So I was like, yeah, not like that. But I was like, is he blowing out candles? So I turned the sound on. And
that's a punishment I would not sign up for, Kyle. I would not enter that league if that was the last place punishment. You got to blow a bear. You're like, what?
I'll do the concoction.
Yeah, give me the concoction.
Plus the Big Macs.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. If you saw any fantasy punishments out there, if you have any creative fantasy punishments for your league, let us know down in the comments. Because maybe we'll cover viewer leagues next year and see what they've got cooked up. Let's head back to the fantasy football talk, or just the football talk in general. This one is starting to gain steam as well, and it feels like we're going to have a quarterback carousel this offseason potentially. Aaron Rodgers is already going to be looking for a new home, but apparently Matthew Stafford to the New York Giants is becoming more and more of a thing each and every day.
Which is weird, right? I mean, I get it because Cooper Kupp is on the move. Him and Cooper Kupp are best friends. His wife came out and talked about how they're pissed off about it. Like, obviously, there's reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
I personally love Matthew Stafford in New York, personally, because I think it would make Malik Neighbors out of this world amazing.
He'd be top 5, I think.
Yeah, I mean, easy. I would think that would almost be a lock as a top 5 guy.
But Puka Nacua.
Well, here's the deal: is like, what happens to Puka then if Stafford leaves? And you just mentioned Aaron Rodgers needing a job. Does Aaron Rodgers go to the Rams? And if he does, what does that do to Puka? There's no one else to really throw to consistently now that Cooper Kupp would be gone as well. You'd have to think that Aaron Rodgers would pepper Puka Nacua as well, and it wouldn't hurt him as bad, but it can't be at the level of what Matthew Stafford was doing. So yeah, he would take a hit, but it's weird because we all know that New York needs a quarterback, right? And either they're going to bring one in like Matthew Stafford this offseason, or they're going to draft one. You know, who's it going to be? Could it be Shador? You know, we have no idea. No matter what it is, it's an upgrade for Malik Neighbors, but Stafford going to New York, it's not enough to win the division, obviously, over Philly or Washington. Like, it's not enough, but I think it gets him closer.
That's definitely one of those. Trading for Matthew Stafford at this point in his career is a win now move. You have to legitimately feel like in your mind that you have at least a shot at a wild card spot.
But do they really though? I don't know.
And that's the thing. If you really don't think so, I don't know how you can trade for Stafford. Like, I don't know. I couldn't see Stafford costing a top 5 pick. Where are the Giants draft? Are they 6?
There's no way I would trade that pick for Matthew Stafford, no matter where it is.
It's a top 10 pick. I know that.
Yeah.
I'm not trading a top 10 pick for maybe a couple of years of Matthew Stafford.
No.
I'm just not doing it.
But because they need that pick to try to win with Stafford. Like, they need that top 10 pick.
One thing I don't get about Stafford either is his wife was never this vocal when he was in Detroit. I don't know what happened since they went out to LA, but I know his wife and her appearances on podcasts and the way she talks about the teams in the offseason and some other things that she has said. Like, there was that story last offseason where essentially she was like sleeping with the backup quarterback at Georgia to make Matthew Stafford jealous. Like, that whole thing, like you go to New York and you act like that.
Yeah.
You
act weird in LA, you kind of blend in. You go to New York and act weird, you just have more eyeballs on it, but you still kind of blend in. That would be a lot of pressure. But I guess if you're going from one big market to the next, I think all the Giants fans want to do is win. And as long as they're winning, they're not going to care.
Is Los Angeles a big market? Yes, but I don't think it is for their football teams. Because I don't think anybody in Los Angeles is like a true – there are some.
Yeah.
But it's not like a city that's filled with like true Rams or Chargers fans. You go to New York.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have, like, you've got to shut up, you've got to put up. But another thing, too, that I think is very interesting to talk about, the weather. Matthew Stafford has either played indoors his entire career in Detroit.
Facts.
Or he's played in the warm weather of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
He has not gone to a team where he is going to have to consistently play. Oh, and their stadium, by the way, is in LA is basically covered anyway.
Yeah.
So he's essentially played all of his home games indoors, and that's not going to be a thing anymore.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
That's going to be a big difference.
Cold weather Stafford is not as good as indoor Stafford.
Yeah.
And that is,
I don't know. I understand where the Rams are coming from and why, but they don't have a backup plan either. They're going to be, it's not Stetson Bennett who missed all of last year because of anxiety issues, I think it was, or something like that. So it certainly isn't him.
No.
Besides, when he graduated high school, he was almost eligible for AARP.
Yeah,
anyways.
He's old. Like he's about to retire anyway.
Yeah. They don't really have another.
They have no backup plan there either. It's going to be interesting, Kyle. And if they come in with some like low ball quarterback, that does absolutely kill Puka Nacua. It does.
And I'm sorry, but even if it's Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if I can get on board with Puka.
I think I go Puka top 15, not top 10.
From a talent perspective, Garrett Wilson is better than Puka Nacua, and Garrett Wilson couldn't even stay consistent last year.
But I will say that I believe that the McVay offense is better.
Yes.
Yeah. So they would find a way to figure that out.
I would agree with that.
Crazy.
So I think we can agree that there are some situations in LA that could be really, really bad, but I don't know if they could be as bad as the NBA All-Star Game. Segment number 4, let's have a chat about what is the worst All-Star Game for the 4 major pro sports.
Okay, can I start off with a full disclosure?
NBA, MLB, NHL.
Full disclosure, I assumed it, but I've never even seen an NHL All-Star Game.
They don't have the All-Star games as much as they used to because they still participate in the Olympics. And then like right now they're doing the 4 Nations face-off, which for those of you, I used to be a huge hockey fan back in the day. I used to love watching hockey. My dad and I used to go to hockey games all the time. The Dallas Stars like affiliate team was 30 minutes from where I grew up. So we used to go watch them all the time. So I used to love hockey, big Red Wings fan. I don't watch it nearly as much anymore. I don't have the time. Plus, I don't get the Red Wings on TV down in Indianapolis, so I don't get to keep Indianapolis and Indiana, so I don't get to keep up with them. The 4 Nations face-off is pretty cool. Watching the countries kind of battle it out a little bit. Much better exhibition.
Right.
Than watching some of the NBA players put up 200 points in a game.
Yeah, and now that the NBA's changed all their stuff, that is not even going to happen anymore. I'm going to say this, Kyle, because we can talk about which ones are worse, but I think there's only one that's worth a damn. And it's the baseball All-Star Game. It's the only one that I think is worth a damn because there's something on the line for it. And that's after that, like the NFL one, the Pro Bowl, pointless. You know what I mean?
I do like the changes that they made to the Pro Bowl. I like the skills competition.
Yeah, that part is fine.
And the flag football way better than having them put pads on and just
not try.
Yeah, and just not try. Like that's not fun. I think what they're doing now has taken it above the NBA because I do believe that the NFL was below the NBA at one point in time.
I will definitely say that. I can't give the NHL a honest rank because I've never watched it. It would probably be towards the bottom for me. I would say MLB is number 1. Number 2 would probably be NFL, then NHL, then the NBA. Because what the NBA just did, and I get it, they're trying to find a way to make it more interesting because there's no defense. It's like 200 to 203 at the end of the game. So they've created like a tournament between younger guys and international guys and older guys and younger guys. I like the format kind of, but the way that they put it on TV with Kevin Hart yelling in a microphone every 5 minutes that made no sense. Huge breaks in between games. The games were so short that some of the All-Stars who deserved to be there didn't even get into the game. Like I think Anthony Edwards of Minnesota didn't even get to play because the game ended. So he's one of the best young players in the NBA. Didn't even get a chance to get on the court. And stuff like that is just like, okay, I like that you're trying to find a way, but between the 3-point contest, which is just, it's rinse and repeat every year for the most part. The dunk contest, sure, Mac McClung is amazing, but outside of him, you're not seeing one highlight of anyone else out there.
Mac McClung is not even in the NBA.
No, he's in the G League.
He's in the G League. He's not even an NBA player.
And yet he's a 3-time he's won it 3 times in a row, and he's a G League player. Like that just tells you stuff right there. You know, like we have the older all-stars that deserve to be there talking about how bad it is that the young guys that don't deserve to be there are still getting to be there just so they can play each other. Like, it was weird. I mean, Draymond Green was, one of the commentators before the pregame stuff, and he was talking about how much he hated it. It's the smartest thing I've ever heard Draymond Green say. It's just, I did not enjoy the NBA game. I've gotten more into the NBA here as of late, and we'll discuss that in a little bit. But I did not enjoy the All-Star game. Give me the baseball game, the All-Star game, just because at least we know who gets home field advantage for the World Series.
Well, the thing about baseball too is you can't really not play defense. You can't really not. You can't
let the ball hit you.
You can't basically not try in baseball.
Yeah.
Right. No, the pitchers aren't going up there throwing 65 down the middle of the plate and just letting the hitter swing. Like, they're still trying. They're still making plays. They're trying to win that game.
Yep.
So I think from a competitive standpoint, regardless of the ramifications of anything around it, having MLB like be the best competition is. Did they take away home field advantage though? I don't.
Did they? I don't know. I haven't watched baseball in forever. Last time I watched baseball, the winner of the All-Star game got home field advantage in the World Series. Whether that was AL or NL.
They used to do it, and I didn't like it. No, they did change it.
Damn,
they did change it. It clicked in my head for a second. I was like, wait a second. I think that they changed that, and they did. So they no longer do that, and I still think it's a decent.
What
product.
do they do then? That's all they do is just a normal game? Like, there's nothing on the line anymore? Yeah, damn you, MLB, game. You screwed it up. You made a meaningful game.
I don't like that it gave home field advantage, though, because...
That's the whole reason for my ranking, Kyle.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, I'm contemplating my decisions. How about this?
The home run derby is pretty fun, though, because you still have, like...
I would rather watch the home run derby than the dunk contest or the three-point contest or anything like that.
Yes.
I'd rather watch the home run derby, for sure.
I'd rather watch it than anything the NFL does as well.
Anything?
Yes, for All-Star Weekend. Or
for All-Star Weekend, yes.
For Pro Bowl Weekend. Yeah. I would rather watch it than any of the...
Did you watch any of the NBA All-Star Weekend?
Oh, absolutely not. I don't think I ever have, to be honest with you.
I see clips of it. I watched like the first 5 minutes of the game. I'm like, yeah, this is going to suck royally, so I shut it off. But did you see anything online about how Chris Paul and Victor Wembanyama tried to cheat the skills competition?
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
That's a big brain move, right? They tried to circumvent the rules. They got disqualified, and it did not count. But at least it showed they put some thought into it, right?
Yeah.
That's one thing you can say about it, I guess.
Yeah, they took it serious because they put enough thought into it to try and win it. So
a lot of people are pissed off because people took out bets, Kyle, about who would win the skills competition, and they picked the Spurs, and then they ended up getting disqualified for that.
Oh, I didn't see
People were pissed. People were pissy.
Oh, man. You know who's not going to be pissed about bets?
Who's that, Kyle?
Headliner Nation.
Damn right.
We have a huge announcement for 2025, and some people may have already seen it over on X or whatever it may be in Discord. The Fantasy Headliners and Underdog Fantasy are back together for 2025, bringing you tons of pick'em content.
Yep. A lot of pick'em
content. And there's one thing that you're going to see from the Headliners this year that's going to be a little bit different. There is going to be a very large emphasis on player pick'ems.
Yeah.
We've done it a lot for football, but Jake, in the mastermind that he is, may have unlocked the key to consistent success.
That's right. And let me preface it by saying this. You will never win 100% of your sports betting tickets. Like it's just not going to happen. It will not happen. However, now that football season was over, Kyle, I decided to take a little bit of a dive into the NBA. I was getting that itch of like, you know what? I still want to play on Underdog Fantasy. I still want to go out there and do some player pick'ems.
I was worried it was going to be a different itch. That's a better itch.
Yeah, this is a much better itch. The other one's...
You don't need cream for this.
Yeah, this one, no cream involved. But I want Taylor to go ahead and start scrolling some tickets here up on the screen because I want to show people what has happened. There's a lot. Because over the last 6 weeks, I have spent way too much time trying to figure out the NBA. And I know a lot of people, when it comes to sports betting, they want to go out there and they want to hit the big parlay. They want to hit the big 10x payout. But what would you say if I told you you could double to 2.5 times your money at 70 to 80% of the time? I think a lot of people would be in for that, Kyle. And I have found a way through the research. proprietary blend of information that I pull on a daily basis, Kyle, that has found a ton of success in the NBA, and it works for every damn sport. I don't care if it's baseball, basketball, hockey, football when football season comes back. I feel like I have figured out the secret sauce when it comes to putting in some player pick'em. So if you have not joined us over on Underdog yet, now is the time to do so. We're going to be doing NBA. I'll be doing baseball all throughout all year long. It's player pick'em time, Kyle. It's no longer just football season where we found some good success here over the last couple of years. But with this new format, I think a lot of people are going to be able to stay engaged all year long. In our Discord right now, I post plays every single day, and people are in there getting excited. They're having a good time. If one of you guys are watching the video right now, be sure to leave a comment down below. So if you want to be a part of that community and just have fun with it, you got to hit the little blue join button, and you got to get into our Discord, because if you can get into that player props chat, you are going to be having yourself a great time. I mean, even Kyle was winning money on basketball.
And I don't watch it.
Well, here's what's funny about that, Kyle. I don't watch it either. And I don't watch it consistently. I mean, I've watched it more lately, but when you understand numbers and analytics and you can build spreadsheets and really look at things, you can find ways to win more frequently, Kyle. And that's what it's all about right here. It's not about trying to get rich quick. It's about trying to slowly build that bankroll and slowly continue to have fun with something that a lot of people lose the joy in it because they're expected to win some 10-player parlay, and when they miss it by a player, they lose all their money. Like, that's just not, if you want to get rich faster, doing anything sports betting related, this is the way to do it.
Yeah. And that's 100%. The problem too that I see with a lot of other paid servers or memberships, or even with like the companies when they post things online. Like every week you see somebody post, oh, this person won the Millie Maker. Yeah. Like, that's great. And this company might post that one of their subscribers won the $1 million whatever. But that only happened one time that season. How many subscribers do they have, and how many people actually playing it? For me personally, I'm just looking like, let's just win, right? I want to see green. The more green I see, the better. And maybe it's only enough for like to take the fam out to dinner. Maybe it's enough for the house payment next month. But just roll with it and have some fun.
Absolutely. So if you are not on Underdog just yet, now is the time to do so. Head over to Underdog, create a new account, make your initial minimum $10 deposit is all you need to do, but just be sure to use the code word headliners when you do so you have a chance at up to $1,000 in bonus cash. And plus, you're going to get some free pick'em plays. They do promos all the time. Yes. You're going to have so much fun with it this offseason, and we're going to do it responsibly, and we're going to do it in a way that the entire community can enjoy it, not just some get-rich-quick pyramid scheme that you see all over the place.
Absolutely. Hit the join button down below. Become a part of the exclusive nation today, which, by the way, also gets you access to exclusive content on the channel. Let's move on. Segment number 6 to end things this afternoon, evening, morning, whenever you're watching this. We are going to talk about our top 3 Super Bowl halftime shows. And there's going to be an asterisk with this because we got yelled at by Taylor for leaving out his favorite performance of all time, which Jake and I didn't even realize it happened.
I mean, I'd forgotten about it, to be completely honest, because it was a long time ago. But when I went through the ranking, I kind of have a story behind each one of mine as to why I chose them. Maybe not the greatest entertainment that people saw, but something in my life or something at the time that made me enjoy it.
Okay. I'm going to let you do your top 3 first.
Okay.
Since you have a story behind it.
It's a short story. It's just a reason. Okay. Really.
Okay. Go ahead and do all yours first.
Number 3, I went with Aerosmith when they were with NSYNC, Britney Spears, and Nelly. That was Super Bowl 35. And I had just gotten out of high school. It was very big at that time. Britney Spears looked amazing back then. She hadn't gone totally nuts at that point. I really enjoyed during that Super Bowl how they all intertwined with each other. There wasn't a lot of fluff in the Super Bowl. It wasn't like, let's just do a song and then have somebody talk for a second or some DJ playing something. No, they had 2 stages built and they were going back and forth, and then all the artists came together. They were singing songs of their own together. It was something that I remember at a very pivotal age, I guess, in my life. I guess we're just exiting high school. Like, you remember everything from those days. Yeah, you just remember things. I think everybody, the majority of people, can really remember what they were doing in their life around their senior year of high school, their first year out of high school. Like, those are a lot of memorable times, and that's one of the things I remember. So they're my number 3. Number 2 was Super Bowl 54, and it was Shakira and J-Lo. Did I care anything about Shakira or J-Lo? No. Do I currently care anything about either one of them? No. For me, the reason behind this one was a proud dad moment, because this was one of the first halftime shows that my son sat with me and actually watched, and I have never seen him with that look on his face before when he saw J-Lo and Shakira shaking it in those sequin mini dresses. He was engaged. He was focused. The eye contact did not break. And for me, that was a dad moment. Like, he gets it. You know what I mean? Like, he's got it. Like, he gets it.
Just imagine if he had been around for Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like, he probably would have fallen off the couch at that age, because he was pretty young. But still, it clicked for him at that point, and I was just like, that's a proud dad moment. That's one I'm going to remember. And then my favorite is probably one that a lot of people really enjoyed, and I'm probably sure it's on your list as well. It was Super Bowl 56 just a couple years ago, when it was Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent and Eminem. The way that they all collabed and worked together. I know Kendrick was in there as well. In LA, going through all the older hits, man, that was like nostalgic. And being that it was in LA and happening the way that it did is, in my opinion, and I know a lot of people will disagree with this, by far probably the one Super Bowl halftime show that I will always remember, because they were all together on the stage at the same time in LA.
Yeah, that was a good one. That is actually number 3 for me. Okay. That was a good one. I tried really hard to not put my boy Marshall at the very top, repping the 313. So
I did.
I mean, I know, but then people would be like, you're biased. They always say that. So I was trying not to be biased. Definitely one of the better ones, like you said, in terms of, I'm not a big like rap guy either. I don't listen to a ton of rap. I definitely listen to Eminem. But like, even with that show, I knew all of those songs. And those were songs that weren't like super popular right now, but I remember being popular when I was a little bit younger. So it did kind of have that nostalgia fact to it. Being in LA was a big one. So I thought that was a very good show that was put together well. 50 Cent hanging upside down, everyone talking about the dad bod. Like, that was pretty funny too. Yeah. Number 2 for me was a high energy show. And I like high energy. I don't love a lot of shows that go like up and down. Like, let's just keep finding the energy and going all the way up. Okay. Number 2 for me, Super Bowl 48, is Bruno Mars. Brought the energy, started off with that huge drum solo at the very beginning of it. We had the Red Hot Chili Peppers come out, even though their guitars weren't plugged in, we found out later on, whatever. Red Hot Chili. So a little mix of pop and rock was fun, but it was high energy. And then it kind of ended with like a good, like, kind of sentimental thing when they were like bringing a bunch of the armed forces on screen that weren't at home, and they were getting to say hi to their family. So I think that covered a whole lot of emotions during that time. So I think that is number 2 for me. Number 1, I feel like and I'm not even a fan of Prince, but I feel like Prince's halftime show may be the most iconic halftime show of all time.
I think a lot of people would agree.
I'm not a Prince fan, but I'll tell you what, that dude played the hell out of the guitar in that halftime show, and he did it in the rain. Yeah. Like, it was raining that entire time on that stage, and he was still getting it the entire time. I'm not a big Prince fan. If you were to put one of his songs on, I might not even recognize it's Prince, to be honest with you, and I don't want to get drugged through the mud on that one by anybody in the comments, so forgive me. But I feel like when you think about halftime shows, that's like an iconic halftime show that everybody remembers. Yep. And that's why it's number 1. But we have to give like a special shout out to Michael Jackson, because that's Taylor's favorite.
Yeah, Taylor's like, how did you guys not include Michael Jackson? And I completely
forgot that Michael Jackson did it.
Yeah, I mean, here's it's crazy, Colin. Maybe you saw the same thing, and maybe this is a hot take that's going to piss people off, and we can end the show on the hot take. But when I was going through and looking through all the halftime shows in recent history, there's been a lot of crappy ones.
I feel like it's either
or non-memorable ones.
Yeah, people either say that's the best halftime show that we've had or that's the worst.
Yep.
Like, I don't think anyone's ever been like, eh.
Yeah.
And I feel like even this last halftime show, there's people who think it's really good for certain reasons. There's people who thought it was really bad for certain reasons. I haven't ran into anybody. I didn't even watch it, to be honest with you, so I don't have an opinion on it. I haven't really seen anybody say, it was okay.
Yeah. I think
it'll be interesting to see what happens next year, though, because they haven't announced it yet, right?
So.
I don't think so. So apparently next year, the home base for Metallica is in the same city as the Super Bowl, because it's out in San Francisco, isn't it?
I think. I don't even know off the top of my head.
So
Metallica's so old. I loved Metallica. That was my very first concert I ever went to, was Metallica.
I would like to see, me personally, again, I'm not a big rap, pop, R&B guy, so I wouldn't mind seeing a rock halftime show this coming year. I would like to see him change it up a little bit.
I would like you to watch the Kendrick Lamar walk during Not Like Us and learn how to do it, and then record yourself doing it on camera. I think that would be hilarious.
Do I need to get the flare jeans too?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. That would be amazing. It would be the intro to every one of our videos.
Ladies and gentlemen, not only will I be wearing flare jeans for every single episode the rest of the year, but you need to let us know down in the comments, what is your favorite halftime show? What's the most memorable one that you remember, whether it's just because you remember it or it was good? And no, you cannot use Janet Jackson's boob as the one to pick. You have to pick a different one. But that's going to do it for Pick 6 this week, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you're appreciating the content. Make sure you leave in the comments down below. Make sure you're hitting that like button. If you're coming across this show and it's your very first time on your channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. Jake and I are going to go do football stuff now for the rest of the week.
Let's go do some football stuff, Kyle.
And we're going to be winning over on Underdog, playing pick'ems for
the NBA is back, Kyle, off the All-Star break. We making some money.
Ladies and gentlemen, everybody stay safe and healthy out there. We'll see you on the next episode of the Fantasy Headliners.